Following a draft opinion that indicated the Supreme Court could overturn Roe v. Wade, 4 staters are coming out to voice their concern over what could happen. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with those details.
On Wednesday, there was an exciting announcement about the potential future of the Joplin Union Depot. But what makes this building worth saving? I'm Chris Warner with that story.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Dow Quick. The KBI and Allen County Sheriff's Office have made an arrest related to the death of an Allen County man. Officers arrested Raymond Maloney at his residence in La Harpe, Kansas. Maloney was arrested on suspicion of first-degree murder connected to the killing of 68-year-old Richard Deal. Authorities say Maloney and Deal were neighbors. The investigation is still ongoing and Maloney was arrested without incident. A 2019 law banning abortions in most cases in Missouri could go into effect if Roe v. Wade is overturned. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with protesters in Joplin about Missouri's current abortion laws and what could happen in the future.
My body,
my choice.
my body,
My choice.
my body.
My choice.
Following an unprecedented leak of a draft opinion indicating the Supreme Court would overturn Roe v. Wade, people across the country are responding. Some women say they fear that something like this could happen for a while.
It feels like it's been coming a long time, but I just hope that they'll change their minds by June.
In a direct response to the leak, Jamie Lindsay organized the Rally for Reproductive Freedom along 5th and Main Street. Missouri has a trigger law in place, and if Roe v. Wade were overturned, abortion could be banned after 8 weeks, including instances of incest and rape. The only exception would be if the person's health was at risk. A group of protesters lined the sidewalk on both sides, expressing their fear of losing even more access to abortions. One protester, who wished to be identified only as Kay, says she wants to be able to have a choice when it comes to her body.
When I was 17, I found out that I had endometriosis, and so I was told that if I was to carry a pregnancy to term, I would most likely die. I'm at a higher risk for ectopic pregnancies and complications during pregnancies. I'm terrified that if I get pregnant that I will die, and I don't want to leave my partner, and I don't want to make that choice, and I know that I may have to someday.
Others say it comes down to a woman's rights.
No, I think that's very serious and ridiculous that they think that they can control our bodies when there are no restrictions on men whatsoever.
Lindsay says she hopes this gets the message out that there are people against this.
So we're really just trying to build that momentum so we can show our leaders and around the country that this matters to us very deeply.
Missouri's Right to Life, a nonprofit pro-life organization, says they're waiting for the official opinion from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is expected to issue its ruling this summer. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
At the time KOAM was covering the protest, there were no counter-protesters present. And in response to the draft leak, U.S. Senator from Missouri Josh Hawley tweeted, "If this is the opinion of the court, it will be one of the greatest opinions in Supreme Court history. It will save millions of lives," end quote. U.S. Congressman Billy Long, who represents Missouri's 7th District, has been a critic of the 1972 Roe v. Wade decision. On his website, Long says, quote, "I am 100% pro-life. I believe in the sanctity of human life, that life begins at conception and in protecting the rights of the unborn." Doug Heddy joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Well, it actually turned out to be a pretty decent Friday for us today. Finally, we got rid of the rain. We had some very heavy rain last night into the morning hours, but most of today, not too bad. A lot of clouds across the region. 66, 55, we should be topping out at 74, so we were below where we should be for this time of the year, but that's fine. At least we got the heavy rain out of here. We still have some clouds. I'm a little concerned with the moisture on the ground, and the wind's fairly light. We get some pretty good fog in here later on tonight, but temperatures mainly sitting into the lower 60s. Looking up for the weekend. We're going to check that out here in just a bit.
See you then. An announcement Wednesday from the Downtown Joplin Alliance made the light at the end of the tunnel a little brighter for Joplin's Union Depot. Tonight, KOAM's Chris Warner brings us a little more on the history of this downtown building.
The Joplin Union Depot. Just looking at this video, it's obvious it's seen better days. But its future may be a little brighter as a search begins to find the right developer to come in and breathe new life into this historic structure. We spoke with Jill Sullivan at the Post Art Library in Joplin to learn a little more about the history of this iconic building.
Union Depot was designed by Kansas City-based architect Louis Curtis, who's often referred to as the Frank Lloyd Wright of Kansas City. And it's our Union Depot that really helped, I guess you could say, cement his reputation and become a pioneer in fireproof concrete construction. And the depot opened in 1911, and it was in service as a train depot until it closed in 1969.
Part of that fireproof concrete has a local connection.
He used local chat in the concrete mixture. So it was kind of like reusing a waste product and turning that into something new as well. So that was very innovative at the time. In fact, in 1912, Popular Mechanics magazine wrote about it and acknowledged it.
Sullivan says the need to preserve the building goes beyond the depot itself and deep into its walls.
The building itself is an architectural wonder. It's beautiful and stunning. However, I think all of the stories of the people coming and going to our community, leaving our community, visiting our community, I think that that's just as important to preserve, and that by preserving the building, we also help to preserve those stories.
She says preserving the depot preserves our community.
It's all part of the building of our community, and I think that often people will look at preservation and might think that it's just about the buildings and the materials, but it's really about the people and the stories and the community.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
We have a link to the Popular Mechanics article Sullivan mentioned in this story at KOAMnewsnow.com. Missouri taxpayers are a step closer to getting a several $100 refund from the state. The state Senate last night endorsed a plan to provide a one-time tax credit of up to $500 for individuals and $1,000 for couples. The refunds would go only to individuals earning less than $150,000 and couples making less than $300,000 annually. The Senate plan needs a final vote to go to the House. Pittsburgh State University is offering something new for communication students. For the first time this spring, students will have the opportunity to receive a professional certification. The certifications are for social and digital media and are included with the degree. 11 students have earned the certification for the spring semester.
My emphasis is in strategic communication, which is public relations and advertising. So since social media is one of the largest forms of advertising, I'll be using it every day. But just being able to know how different advertisements will affect people and how to get the most engagement with them is really what's helped me the most.
The department will continue to offer certifications for future seniors. This is National Nurses Week, and Freeman leaders made pancakes to show their appreciation for all the hard work their nurses do every day. Events this week included a nurses area decoration contest, a barbecue, recognitions, themed basket raffles, and giveaways.
Our nurses are here day and night. They're taking care of patients' needs. A lot of times they put their others' needs before their own.
Heather there won the t-shirt design contest. Her shirt was displayed today at the Pancake Feed and is for sale throughout the month of May. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Charles Gilliland served in the U.S. Army in 1950 and 51. Gilliland was stationed in Korea and earned a Medal of Honor. He also has a U.S. Navy ship named after him. We salute Corporal Charles Gilliland, tonight's four-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, two of the best softball teams in Kansas square off tonight in Pittsburgh. We're going to have the highlights in sports.
Well, it turned out to be a drier day once we got to daybreak. We started the day very wet once again. Look at this. Last night we had heavy amounts of rain again. We had over 1.5 inches of rain. This is at the Joplin airport. This puts us at almost 8 inches for the month. It's May 6th. So we've only gone 6 days and we've had almost 8 inches of rain. Some areas have picked up 10 to 12 inches of rain. For the year, over 21, this puts us over 7.5 inches above where we should be. We're fine on rain. We need to dry out, and we're going to get that opportunity over the next several days. Still flood warnings, all these counties highlighted and all these river streams highlighted in green. Flood warnings, which most of the rivers have been cresting. But look at the rainfall over the past 3 days. We have a stripe of 10 plus inches. Jasper County into southern parts of Dade County. Most of this is 7 to 10 on average across the region. We picked up 4 to 8. has a lot of rain, so we get to dry out just a little bit. Temperatures been kind of cool for May. Mid-60s yesterday, much of the same today, mid-60s for highs. Temps right now are sitting mainly into lower 60s. We'll drop back near 50 a little bit later on tonight. Currently outside, sitting at 63, winds are pretty much calm. Humidity is up there. That could give us a little bit of an issue. The winds are calm and our humidity is high due to all the moisture on the ground. That means fog. So in the low-lying areas, we're going to get some thick fog as we go through the overnight hours tonight. But this system heading out of here, if you look out toward the west, not a whole bunch going on. In fact, our pattern really blocks up. We have a strong jet stream that kicks in next week. Very strong systems move up into the northern plains, but the same system that gave us all this rain, he's out here, out across the Atlantic Ocean. He retrogrades back toward the west as we go through the week. What that does is it kind of clogs up the pattern. It keeps all these storm systems out to the west. The end result for us is we heat up and we dry out for about a week. So it's a nice week lull in the month of May, which we usually don't get. Near 50 tonight. We start with the fog. Great day tomorrow, kind of in and out of the clouds. But look at our temperatures. We soar into the mid-70s. 70 by noon, high temp 75, easterly winds light at 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, it's a good fire pit night. It's not going to be windy. We only drop back near 60 degrees. On Sunday, Mother's Day, by noon, we're already back into the 70s. By afternoon, we climb into the mid-80s. So it's going to be teetering warm to hot as we go into Sunday afternoon. And this really continues most of next week. Temperatures continue to climb. 88 Monday, 89 Tuesday, 89 Wednesday, 90 on Thursday. So it really heats up. I always say, Dow and I actually talked about this earlier, I always say anything below 90 is warm. So I have Tuesday and Wednesday at 89 warm, but hot on Thursday. Because I think 90 just sounds hotter than 89.
And you don't say anything below 90 is warm.
True.
Negative 20 isn't warm.
True. There's a category there.
Yeah. Thanks, Doc. Still ahead, the search for the person who leaked the Supreme Court draft opinion.
There are growing calls for protests at the private homes of conservative Supreme Court justices. Why that has some Congress members calling for more security. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with more on the White House's reaction coming up.
The search continues for whoever leaked that draft opinion from the Supreme Court, setting off protests and firing up both Republicans and Democrats over the possible downfall of Roe v. Wade. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
The home addresses of the 6 conservative justices on the Supreme Court have been posted online by pro-choice activists. The White House, however, is not denouncing it.
The president believes in peaceful protest. He believes that's part of our democracy.
The Supreme Court justices, they signed up for being the subject of public, anger, but their families didn't. And the idea that the White House refuses to speak out on this is dreadful and unacceptable.
The advocacy group Ruth Sent Us published the addresses, and while they are not encouraging violence, they are calling for people to do walk-by demonstrations at the private residences. Police presence has been increased outside the homes. That group also calling for Mother's Day protests at Catholic churches. Meanwhile, a church in Colorado was already vandalized by unnamed suspects.
We know that these protests can turn into riots overnight very quickly. These people are very angry.
Meanwhile, in Congress, there is a bipartisan push to allow for 24/7 security for the justices and their families. Senate Leader Chuck Schumer is promising a vote to codify abortion protection laws, but in a split 50-50 Senate, he is unlikely to get the 60 votes needed for it to pass.
Republicans will have 2 choices. They can own the destruction of women's rights, or they can reverse course and work to prevent the damage.
As for who leaked the draft opinion, the Supreme Court marshal is investigating. The Chief Justice John Roberts called the leak absolutely appalling and said it will not affect the work of the court. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Still ahead, the April jobs report is out, but concern remains over rising inflation.
President Biden travels to Ohio, announcing a plan to boost manufacturing and strengthen supply chains in the U.S. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with more on the president's latest initiative to try and bring down prices and what the April jobs report means for the economy coming up.
The April jobs report is out and it shows the economy added more than 420,000 jobs. Unemployment remains steady at 3.6%. Despite the positive news, there is still concern about the impact inflation is having on consumers and how long prices will continue to rise. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has details from Washington.
In the battleground state of Ohio, President Biden touted his administration's latest move to boost domestic manufacturing and strengthen supply chains. 5 major companies, including GE Aviation and Lockheed Martin, are committing to source more parts from American firms that use 3D printing.
The pandemic and the economic crisis that we inherited and Putin's war in Ukraine have all shown the vulnerability when we become too reliant on things made overseas.
The president is aiming to bring down prices, which remain stubbornly high. Still, in the midst of the worst inflation in 4 decades, a bright spot. April is showing another streak of strong hiring with 428,000 new jobs. The unemployment rate holding steady at 3.6%.
This is a very strong jobs number.
But the country is facing some headwinds. The Federal Reserve still on track to continue raising interest rates after increasing it by a half percentage point this week. A tricky situation that sent stocks on a roller coaster ride as the Fed tries to tamp down inflation without triggering a recession.
These are uncertain economic times.
The percentage of people either working or actively looking for work also went down from 62.4% in March to 62.2% in April.
We all know there's work to be done.
The president is also calling on Congress to pass the Bipartisan Innovation Act, which would pump funding for semiconductor manufacturing, an industry currently facing a global shortage. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
Coming up next, a fundraiser showcasing local fashion and something a little cuter. Some furry friends took to the runway today. The Nevada Animal Shelter Project Runway, an event to raise money for the Nevada-Vernon County Chamber and Nevada Animal Shelter. One activity featured a fashion show that showcased local fashion and furry friends. Other activities included food, music, and a silent auction.
So today is Project Runway. We wanted to have a fundraiser for our community, not just to support the chamber, but also to support a local nonprofit, the Nevada Animal Shelter, and then also to shop local, to get people to actually shop local.
The event was at the Elks Lodge Bingo Hall in Nevada. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. The students of a local school are taking part in growing their own food with the help of a local business.
Russia tightens its grip on Mariupol as officials rush to evacuate civilians. I'm Trey Yangst in Kyiv. I've got the details coming up.
The Reed Spring, Missouri School Robotics Program is less than a year old, and it has 2 teams at the VEX Robotics World Championship in Dallas, Texas right now. Reporter Madison Horner shares how the new program is preparing students to become the next generation of problem solvers.
Teamwork, collaboration, and communication are just a few of the words Reed Spring students use to describe what they've learned this year.
You have to talk to your teammates in order to do a lot of the things that we do, like building, doing a state competition, driving the robot, coding.
6th grader Bea Clifford says it was a complete shock learning students from both the middle and elementary schools got the invitation to the World Championship. Clifford says through the program she discovered a new interest and skill set in coding.
I did not expect to be able to code a robot to do so much as to gain 40 points, that's really big.
At World, students will be asked to solve an engineering challenge presented in the form of a game. Teams will work together to score points and show off their skills individually in driver-controlled and programming robot skills challenges. Student Ethan Linegar is looking forward to meeting teams from other countries next month.
Even if they don't speak our language, I'm excited to see how they do robotics versus how we do it.
Robotics coach Keith Kramer has watched students gain confidence being on the team. He says whatever career path they choose later in life,
if they can work through a problem, if they can try to plan for possible issues that may arise, then this is going to help them in anything.
Student success has also led to more interest in the program overall.
Now, so many kids in our class want to be on the team for next year.
Dreams really do come true is what I've learned from this year. Just shoot for those dreams and don't give up.
The VEX Robotics World Championship runs until the 12th. Students at Pittsburgh High will soon be supplying their own greens for lunch. The high school started a program where students and departments are growing crops for the cafeteria salad bar and more. The project takes after an indoor growing system used by Leafy Greens in Pittsburgh. The school sees this as a great learning and business opportunity for students.
I want to give back to our community. Originally I wanted to, maybe help with like the Wesley House or the Lord's Diner, but this way I'm still giving back to my community through our school system and everything, so.
Students are currently growing lettuce, but they have the capabilities to grow more diverse crops. It's an annual tradition for some Joplin High School students, the Warrior Walk. Graduating seniors at Macaulay High School took a trip down memory lane by walking the halls of St. Mary's Elementary, which many of them attended. The current students of St. Mary's gave them a round of applause during the walk.
Telling the kids what they can accomplish when they're older, this is what is to come, and especially for my other classmates who have gone to St. Mary's since they were like preschool, they can see the teachers, they can see the kids of what it reminds them when they were little, just that kind of aspect of it.
The Warrior Walk took place after graduation practice and Mass. The Washington Family Hope Center in Joplin is looking for your help to support moms and kids. The center is hosting their second annual Blooms of Hope event with a potted plant and flower sale. Arrangements were put together by the moms of the center for the moms in your life. They also have a make and take table for kids to create their own arrangements.
We're part of Water Gardens, but we are the shelter for moms and kids. And so we thought it would be a great thing to have a plant sale for Mother's Day that's then in turn going to help us continue to serve moms at this facility.
That event went until 7 tonight. It's going to continue tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Then again on Sunday from 10 a.m. until they sell out. Russian troops are still trying to wrap up their siege of Mariupol in Ukraine. This as Ukrainian troops make their last stand and evacuation efforts resume. Reporter Trey Yingst has the latest from Kyiv.
Russian forces bombed the Azov steel plant in the Ukrainian city of Mariupol. Inside, Ukrainian civilians and soldiers are trapped in nuclear bunkers.
Currently, Russian shelling and assault of Azovstal steel plant do not stop, but civilians still need to be taken out. Women, children, many children who are still there. Just imagine this hell.
The United Nations says 500 civilians were able to leave the facility over the past 48 hours, but others still need to be rescued. Ukrainian officials worry they're running out of time as Russian leadership looks to claim a military victory.
We understand there's no logic in Putin's actions. He has this thirst for victory. He has the 9th of May that's upcoming, when he needs to bring somebody's head for his people and show he's victorious.
Denis Monastersky serves as Ukraine's Minister of Internal Affairs. He believes the Russian military will escalate their attacks on Ukraine if a victory can't be claimed by Victory Day next week. This week, the Russian military ran through a rehearsal for their Victory Day celebrations in the capital of Moscow. With fighter jets overhead and troops in the street, Russian President Putin is looking to project an image of strength.
This parade will be larger than the previous one. We will show the powerful strength of our country.
The preparation comes as wartime rhetoric reached new heights this week, with Russia warning NATO against supplying weapons to Ukraine and NATO leadership pushing back, like the Polish Prime Minister who called Putin a war criminal. Russian presidential spokesman Dmitry Peskov quickly responded to the statement. The fact is there has been very hostile rhetoric coming out of Poland in recent months, Peskov explained, and the fact that the territorial integrity of Ukraine can be threatened by Poland also are obvious facts. Officials in the capital of Kyiv are increasing security measures amid continued tension and ahead of Victory Day on Monday. In Kyiv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
A bit later, the push toward alternative fuel sources.
We know electric-powered vehicles can help reduce harmful greenhouse gas emissions, but what about hydrogen fuel cell technology? I'm Ashley Strohmeyer with a look at a new state-of-the-art ferry that's helping to transform the way we travel and care for the planet.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nicer day for us today after we got rid of the showers and thunderstorms we had again late last night into the morning hours. In fact, over 1.5 inches of rain at the Joplin airport. So more heavy amounts of rain for the month. Over 7.5 inches of rain. We've gone 6 days. That's it. So we're over 21 for the year. We are going to get to dry out just a little bit. We still have flood warnings as those creeks, rivers, and streams are still high. It's going to take a little time, a couple days for them to go down, but at least we get to dry out after, you can see this stripe here, 10+ inches of rain. On average, most of us picked up 4 to 8 inches of rain over the past couple days. Mid-60s yesterday, mid-60s for us today, so not bad temperatures, kind of cool for the beginning of May. We are sitting mainly into low 60s right now. We'll drop back near 50 later on tonight, but we have calm winds. Humidity is high at 81%. That means patchy fog moving in a little bit later on tonight. Most of the clouds have been breaking up over the past couple hours, so we look pretty good as this system rolls east. Not a whole bunch going on out west. It looks pretty good. We do get a lot of energy in here next week. We also get a lot of thunderstorms that try to make it into western Kansas, central Kansas. But as this system that's been on us all week kind of hangs out on the eastern seaboard, it keeps the jet stream kind of at bay, so we don't get a lot of these systems pushing in. We may get some storms in here the middle of next week, but I really think most of next week looks pretty calm at this point in time, which is good in the month of May. All right, near 50 tonight, patchy fog. Let's go into Saturday. Partly sunny skies, pretty good day. We're going to warm into the mid-70s, right about where we should be for this time of the year. 70 by noon. High temp, 75. Easterly winds are going to be light at 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, we only drop back to about 60. And then as we go into Mother's Day, partly sunny skies, 70s by noon. By the afternoon, we warm into the mid-80s. So great day to get outside, do whatever you want to do. It looks pretty good. We are going to throw maybe slight chances for thunderstorms in by Tuesday into Wednesday, but right now I'm going to keep it dry. We're just going to keep our eyes on that. But look at these temps. Upper 80s to near 90. Thunderstorm chances a better shot. Move in 1 week from now. So what that means overall is we don't really have a severe weather threat over the next several days. I'm going to put yellow days for next Friday and Saturday, meaning at least a low threat. And then this following week, 15th, 16th, about the 19th, 20th, 21st, this is when our severe weather starts ramping up once again. So right in the middle of May. So we'll definitely keep our eyes on that as we go through the next few weeks. But at least this weekend, looking pretty good. A chance to dry out after, gosh, 8 to 10 inches of rain.
Yeah, it might not still be completely dried out by the end of the weekend, but we'll be a lot closer for sure.
It's going to take a while.
It's nice that we're going to have dry weather for Mother's Day.
Yes.
Coming up in sports, a Diamond High School wrestler signs to continue his career at a Southwest Missouri university. Plus, rivals Pitt State and Missouri Southern square off tonight in the first round of the MIAA tournament. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
Pittsburgh State and Missouri Southern baseball square off tonight in the first round of the MIAA tournament. Now, the two rivals play a 3-game series this weekend, with the winner advancing to the Final Four in Edmond, Oklahoma next week. Now, the Gorillas are the 3 seed in the tournament, while the Lions enter as the 6 seed. Jordan Fitzpatrick had himself a night, finds the gap here. Ryan Doran scores, double for Fitzpatrick. He goes 3 for 4 tonight with a double, a homer, and 2 RBIs. A 7th inning, Henry Kuziak making a play on defense, barehand grab, rocket throw. Nice play from Kuziak. Now, how often do you see a guy make a play in the field, then come through at the plate? When we edit it that way, big swing for Kuziak to left. Wait for it. There it is, bouncing off the road. Homer for Kuziak. It is 6-0 Lions. On the mound, Logan Van Wy, fantastic all night for Southern. Strikeout ends the 7th there. He goes 8 shutout innings, striking out 10 on 131 pitches. Southern shuts out Pitt State in Game 1 tonight, 6-0.
That's the most pitches I've ever thrown. I knew going to that last inning it was probably going to be my last, so, give it everything I got. Just go out, throw strikes. My defense made a lot of big plays for me, so that was huge. Anytime your defense is making plays for you, you can just go out there, throw strikes, do your thing, and have quick innings. So that helped me get to the 8th inning. That was huge.
The Frontenac Raiders and Columbus Titans meet tonight in Pittsburgh with the CNC League title on the line. Frontenac needs a sweep for the league title, while Columbus needs to win just one. The Titans are 16-1 coming into the day, while the Raiders are right behind them in the regional standings at 14-2. Fourth inning, Gracie Major, big swing for Columbus. Puts an up and out to left. At that point, Titans lead 7-3. Here comes Frontenac in the sixth, down just one. Mia Brown comes through with a homer of her own. That's a two-run shot. Raiders lead for the first time at 8-7. Final inning, Columbus would tie it back up. Jalen Rodriguez, RBI single up the middle. It is 8-8 going to the bottom of the seventh. Now one out. Maddie Lajadas up. She makes contact. Tough to handle though. Heather Arnett, you know she's fast enough to score on that. Lajadas walks it off. Raiders take game one 9-8. So it all comes down to this one. Game two, the winner, the CNC League champion. 2 on for Katie Simpson here. She crushes it over the wall in center. 3-run jack. Columbus takes a 4-1 lead. Then in the third, Addie Saporito up. Pulls one into right. RBI single extends the Titans' lead. Columbus would stay rolling. Lily Mooney this time drops it out there in the gap. It makes it 8-2, and they're not done yet. Lexi Stone this time lifting it out to left. 2 Titans score on that. Columbus rolls in game 2. They win 11-2 to claim the CNC League championship. At the college level, Missouri Southern aims to stay alive in the MIAA tournament tonight, facing elimination against Central Oklahoma. That game is final. Lions fall 11-3. Yasmin Vargas and Abby DeSanto pick up a hit and an RBI each. Missouri Southern finishes the spring with a 26-25 overall record. Well, Diamond High School standout Landon Clement signs today to continue his career at the college level. Clement signs this afternoon to wrestle at Drury University in Springfield. Clement, he's an all-around athlete for the Wildcats. In the fall, he earned all-conference honors as both a running back and linebacker. But on the wrestling mat, he's one of the best to ever do it at Diamond. He's a 3-time state qualifier, a 2-time state medalist, and his second-place finish in February is the highest finish for a Diamond wrestler in program history.
First year, just get that feel. College wrestling is a lot different than high school wrestling. Knock all the basics down and, hopefully get closer to that, being an All-American, stuff like that.
He helped set the pace for the room, the change of the program, and we look forward to watching his career.
And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
In an effort to help curb greenhouse gas emissions and reduce the impacts of climate change, a growing number of companies are launching new inventive methods of green transportation. Reporter Ashley Stromier has a special look at a ferry powered by hydrogen fuel cells and why officials are calling it a game changer.
Cruising the waters along the West Coast is a new method of fossil fuel-free transportation that officials say has the potential to change the way Americans commute and help save the environment.
This is going to be the next standard.
This is the Sea Change, a state-of-the-art ferry powered by hydrogen fuel cells that emit water and heat instead of harmful greenhouse gas emissions.
It's the first vessel, first commercial vessel in the world that's got that propulsion system.
The boat was constructed by the All-American Marine Shipyard. It measures in at 70 feet, can carry 75 passengers, and reaches a max speed of 20 knots. The Coast Guard in Washington State is currently testing it in the Puget Sound. By next month, officials expect the vessel will start shipping people across the nearby San Francisco Bay, where the clean, green energy provided by the hydrogen fuel cells will help the Sea Change transform how we travel without hurting the planet.
The shipping industry uses, on average, around 300 million tons a year of carbon-intensive fuels, emits on average about 1 billion tons of CO2 and other greenhouse gases a year.
Critics say hydrogen fuel cells are slow to roll out in commercial vehicles because of their high cost and sheer size. But that aside, the creators of the Sea Change hope to start seeing this technology powering not just larger ships, but also industrial factories as well. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Coming up, David Letterman gets a new season and a first look at a Game of Thrones prequel. That and more next. A talk show legend returns to Netflix. The BET Awards reveal this year's host and more. Reporter Kristen Goodwin has the latest from the Hollywood Nation.
A new look at House Targaryen. Henson celebrates, and Letterman interviews more stars in the Hollywood Nation. David Letterman will be sitting down to speak with more A-list stars for a fourth season of his hit show, My Next Guest Needs No Introduction. Netflix announced the Emmy Award-nominated series returns May 20th with a celebrity lineup that includes Billie Eilish, Ryan Reynolds, Cardi B, and Will Smith. But Smith's controversial slap at the Oscars earlier this year will not be addressed, as his episode was filmed prior to the ceremony. Taraji P. Henson will take center stage at the upcoming BET Awards. The award-winning actress is returning to host the annual ceremony celebrating Black excellence in music, film, TV, and sports. The show airs live from the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles, June 26th. And in today's first looks, HBO released a new trailer to House of the Dragon. The Game of Thrones prequel series takes place 200 years before the events of the original show and focuses on the House Targaryen. It premieres on the network August 21st and will be available to stream on HBO Max.
History does not remember blood.
Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of an otter birthday party at the Philadelphia Zoo. Be safe and let's make it a great weekend.